Hi, everybody. Welcome to Training Camp Wrap-Up presented by the UPMC Health Plan. I'm Missy Matthews. Mike Prisuta will be joining me in just a moment to go over today's practice, but we are going to go right down to the field where Steelers running back Najee Harris is kind enough to join me. And Najee, how has it felt this week to have a healthy running back room as you guys are getting closer to game number 2?
Yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of us are dinged up a little bit, but like you said, we're getting back healthier, close to 100%. We got a lot of guys in there that's been working hard and ready to perform. So we're all excited to play our week 2 game against the Jaguars.
We had a chance to catch up with Pat Fryermuth earlier this week, and he said it was nice to be in a 7-shots huddle with what he felt like was the first-team offense. Do you echo that sentiment, and how are you personally feeling after going through some practices this week?
Yeah, man, it feels good for us to be back out there. Like I said, all of us been dinged up early on, a little minor injuries, nothing too serious. So for us to be back in the huddle and getting that bond together, and like Pat said, for the most part, that is the ones out there. So for us to be back out there performing and making plays and building that bond is good for us to perform September 11th against the Bengals.
I know reps in preseason games will ultimately be decided by Coach Tomlin, but do you feel like you need some reps this preseason?
There's been a lot of conversations with me and Mike T about me playing this game. Bare minimum, I'm playing the last game, but I am playing one of these preseason games, and I do want reps and I do want carries so I could, get a groove of the game again. And I don't want my first live action to be against the Bengals. In practice, because Mike T, he obviously is the head guy, so he makes the rules. So I can't really get that much live reps in practice. So it's only right if I, get some preseason reps.
All right, fair enough. And as we move into the final few days of training camp here at Latrobe, I know when you moved in, you weren't too excited about having to deal with some dorm life. Did you survive, and what did you think of it?
It's cool, whatever. The spiders left, but it's cool, man. I like it's part of the history. So to be at Latrobe and being part of the history, it's where camp's always at every year. COVID was last year, so I couldn't, be able to be a part of tradition last year. I was at Hines, or Acrisure. But now I'm here at Latrobe, part of the tradition, man. So now I'm a Stiller.
In some late night games of Jenga, how was that going for you?
Saw that? I was gonna put this out there. Cam, TJ, Tyson, they cheaters. You know what I mean? They're cheaters. I ain't gonna say what happened, but I didn't know it was a bet until they said, "Hey, Najee, get in here and come play." And then I made my move, and they was like, "Oh,
okay,
we got money on the line." Blah, blah. So they cheated. It's whatever, though. Defense always do that.
All right, well, you put them on blast, so we'll make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, Najee, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Missy.
All right, welcome back. Upstairs, I am now joined by Mike Prisuta, who got a good laugh as well. Najee Harris, one of those guys that you always love talking to and also learn something from.
Yeah, and just to address his last point first, if you ain't cheating, you ain't competing. So, Jenga, go for it. Whatever it takes, a wise man once said. But I really liked hearing him talk about dorm life here. As you mentioned, he wasn't especially excited about it when he checked in, but one of the things I discussed with Max Starks on the pre-show today, Missy, there is a lot of history here, and it was really interesting to me to hear younger players, Kenny Pickett when he got here. Now, Mason Rudolph's been here a while, but it's not like he's been in the NFL for 20 years. He gets it. Najee Harris clearly gets it. I'm part of history now. I've done St. Vincent. Cherry on top of the sundae for me. Missing it the 2 years we weren't here and really enjoying the return.
All right. Some quick notes from practice today. Coach Tomlin said afterwards that Isaiah Loudermilk was not able to finish practice. He is dealing with a rib injury. Also, they were not in pads today, we should preface, and we did not see Alex Highsmith, Derek Watt, or Marcus Allen take any reps as well. But we did see somebody throwing a football today, Triv, who we have not seen very much.
Chris Oladokin. I think he was 4 for 6. I wasn't my usual diligent self writing it down and keeping the yardage totals, but they did let him in the end of a couple drills. I only saw him throw maybe 3 footballs in one of those wide receiver against DB drills prior to today. They let him get a couple reps then, but today actually running some 11 on 11. Also, to me, some interesting stuff. the last period of 11-on-11 was a defensive period, Missy dime, and Devin Bush was the dime linebacker. Now, there's been a progression there. 2-minute drill 2 days ago. Miles Jack was the first team dime linebacker. Then when they did the second team, it was Robert Spillane. Yesterday, Devin Bush got a crack at first team dime linebacker. When they did the second team, it was Robert Spillane. Now they come back to Devin Bush as the first team guy today. And that looked like the real defense out there to me. Cam Hayward and Tyson Alualo inside. TJ Watt outside with Jannard Avery, who was back in pads and getting some first team reps in those defensive type of drills. Avery's got some NFL experience, started 12 games for the Eagles last year, and the Steelers are still sorting through their depth options behind TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. It's been Derek Tuska getting the lion's share of the Highsmith reps since Heisman has been out, but we saw some significant Jannard Avery snaps today, and that secondary featured Akello Witherspoon and Levi Wallace outside at corner, Terrell Edmonds and Micah Fitzpatrick at safety, and Trey Norwood and Cam Sutton playing the inside position. So, again, looked like the real thing.
Another thing we heard Coach Tomlin say following practice today was about quarterback Kenny Pickett, saying he got most of the second team reps this week because he is going to have a, quote, elevated role against Jacksonville. Read between the lines, Mike. Tell me what that means.
He's coming in earlier than he did last time, and he's coming in with an elevated unit. It won't be all young guys and third teamers that he's playing with. This is what can happen in a training camp. We've seen it before. You come out, you learn, you get better, you progress, you make plays, and then they keep putting more on your plate to see if you can handle it. That's some pretty interesting news about Kenny Pickett. Not, stop the press's news, but we knew they were going to take a look at all these guys, and it looks like the spotlight is going to shine more brightly on Kenny Pickett down in Jacksonville than it has previously. Also, interesting today, I heard Mike Tomlin a lot. No shoulder pads in practice, but he started out by encouraging the team, as he often does, turn that faucet on, let the water run. And then at the end, when he gathered everybody together, he was talking to the group for what seemed like a fairly significant amount of time. The only thing I could make out up here was stay locked in. And, of course, this is the time they don't want anybody exhaling. I'm sure Mike Tomlin will talk about, well, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing he'll talk about this tomorrow when he previews the Jacksonville game. Just because you get to the end of the stay in Latrobe, it is not the end of the preseason. It is not a time to think that you've achieved anything. Mm-hmm. It's not a time to exhale. There's a lot of work to do between now and September the 11th.
And still one more preseason game next weekend as well, back at home. So
Pretty good stuff from Najee, too. I was wondering about that myself. He wants a few carries. I would suspect Mike Tomlin's going to give it to him.
Well, we'll have to find out. And as you had already alluded to, Coach Tomlin's press conference to preview the Jacksonville game is tomorrow. So make sure you check that out on the Steelers official app and also Steelers.com. But this is our last show up here at beautiful St. Vincent College. Triv's shedding a tear right now. So just final thoughts on returning to what we would consider normal.
It felt normal to me. It was really a lot of fun, both watching the team develop, which is always the main point of it, but the fan response was phenomenal. I met a ton of people from all over the place during the time we've been here. And, there was so much talk when we got here, Missy, but one of the main reasons they do this is the bonding. And as Mike Tomlin put it, the chasing of the intangible. I think we all saw some examples of that. You heard Najee Harris a moment ago talking about Jenga games and things of that nature. It's all part of team building, and it is a part of Steelers history and Steelers tradition. So it feels right that that train's rolling down the track again.
All right. Well, thanks so much to everybody for joining us here from up in Latrobe. This is Training Camp Wrap-Up Show. I'm Missy Matthews for Mike Pursuta, Craig Wolfley, Max Starks, and Shelby Cassesi. Thanks for joining us all summer. Have a great day, everybody.